What are underrated websites, and what do you use them for? 10-minute email. No need to use my own email to read a random website. I made a Reddit account using these emails. Account still working fine. This one sounds interesting. Finally I can get my revenge. I will now create many fake emails and use them to spam the inboxes of porn sites. It's great to make a new Reddit account. Always a good idea to make a new one every few months cause you don't realize how much info you give out over time. Had a dude guess what area I lived in the city based off shit I've commented. Scary shit. I use a similar website called Yepmail to avoid spam mails. It also has an option to choose how long the email will be valid, an hour to a few days. Domain gets blocked by some websites. I use Mailpoof. I use these all the time. They help so much in keeping my daily inbox cleaner. Camel.com / tracks the price history of something on Amazon, so you can see if a sale is actually a good deal. The Chrome extension Keeper adds this functionality directly onto the Amazon product pages. I've saved a lot of money by seeing items that regularly go on sale. Real example, the Instapot Duo Nova. Regularly $100, but I noticed it went to $50 twice the last 3 months. I waited a few days and now sure enough it's $50 again. Attempted to use Keeper until I read the permissions request to allow it to alter personal information, including passwords, phone numbers and credit card information. No thanks. Naturalreaders.com. It's basically a text-to-speech site that lets you copy and paste passages into a text box, and then the computer will read it back to you. I use this when I need to type out papers, short stories or any other lengthy piece of writing as a way of proofreading. It's nice to use this way because then you can hear your errors read aloud. I use it when I have a lot of reading assignments for college and I don't have time to really get to them all but I want to listen to a reading while I clean or something. I used to use it for long reports. English isn't my native language and I try to get a listen to my writing to see if it sounds right. I stopped using it once I realized my spelling is such so horrible that it won't sound like an alien regurgitating. Futureim.org. You can use it to send emails to the future you. Been using it for almost 3 years. It helps put into perspective how much has changed over the course of a year. Is there a website that allows me to send an email to past me? I've got a couple of things I need to warn me about. Yikes. This one could be so good or so bad. My experience wasn't ideal. My now wife and I had been together for a year or so and sent an email to our future selves about all our hopes and dreams. Getting married. What jobs we'd have. Having kids. How good a granny her mum would be. etc etc. Silly, fun stuff. In the intervening years most of my wife's family had died, including her mum, and after 3 miscarriages, we'd just lost our full-term little boy. It was a real ouch moment. I'm sure in different circumstances it's a great idea, but in this case, 0/10 would not recommend. You can always use Gmail to send an email in the future too, but Gmail did not have this function when this website was created. I used this for over 8 years and it really made me feel good whenever I saw an email of myself. In the past, I send myself goals and encouragement to help me keep in mind what's important. Online image editor with Photoshop feature. Edit. Thanks for upvotes and awards. Don't forget to visit r/Photopia. Photopia is excellent for those curious. It has the absolute best PSD file support of any non-Adobe product I've been able to find. Yes. Better PSD support than GIMP or Affinity. As a graphic designer with nearly 20 years of experience, I don't get the fuss about GIMP other than being free. It has the worst user interface I've seen in any tool I've tried. I always love an opportunity to be able to talk about archive.org because it is such a wonderful and free resource for so many things. It has millions of free downloads for music, movies, books, software etc. One very popular example is that it is home to a very large catalog of Grateful Dead recordings. There is also the Internet Arcade, where you can play a lot of classic games along with their console, living room, which is similar. They have access to tons of old PC games too and you can even play the original Oregon Trail online. There's a lot more in their software section too. It also has the Wayback Machine, which has archived more than 486 billion web pages saved. So you can go back and see how websites were years ago. For example, here's Reddit on July 25th, 2005, a month after it was created. You're the best. I'm broke to buy any kind of expensive books to self-study in my field. I found just the one I'm looking for in archive.org. I owe you a lot. Worth checking out too. Has every book I wanted, but I'm not sure it's legal. Edit. Link added. That website is truly underrated. It deserves more attention, particularly for PC games. When I was a kid, my mom used to play Diablo 2nd and Chips Challenge on our computer. I didn't know English back then, and then my mom also had some memory loss. So the names of those games remained a mystery for me for 17 years, until I accidentally discovered that website during this lockdown and saw those games. Edit. I just remembered. My mom used to play Bad Toys 3D also, though I didn't find it on archive.org. I found it on r/tip off my joystick a few months back, but it's also there on archive.org. Unsplash.com. Tons of free to use images of damn near everything. I love this one. I'm in a web design course and the prof recommended it. Pexels.com is also very good to use. I find more offbeat stuff there. A library of public domain classical sheet music. You can pretty much find any classical music over 100 years old. I stopped buying sheet music when I discovered it. Plus, it's pretty easy to send music to students during e-class in lockdown. Edit. Wow. Thanks guys. I'm glad my information helped some people. Well, that beats the hell out of using image search and getting paywalled at every promising looking sheet. Fucking hell. No joke. As someone who plays piano and guitar, the difficulty in finding good transcriptions on piano is almost impossible. But for guitar it's like a million free copies. Listen to radio around the world. There's also which lets you view out people's windows from around the world. Edit. As several users have pointed out, the videos on the site aren't live feeds. But hopefully you'll still find it interesting anyway. Out. Well, that's just useless to me. Yes, fellow pervs. Rise from the bushes. Make yourselves heard. Wait. www.justwatch.com allows me to search up a movie or TV show and tells me where it's streaming. Edit. It seems like quite a few people are not able to view something they want to watch. But I also use 123 movies when the only option I have is to buy or rent it. There's also the option of torrenting with a VPN. I'm always looking for this type of resource for movies for my kid. Thanks for the link. lightningmaps.org. It tells you in real time where lightning strikes anywhere in the world. Nice to track when there is a thunderstorm where you live. I find this site very soothing. It's also cool to see a strike on the map and then hear the thunder a couple of seconds later. If you zoom in enough, they show a prediction of where the sound wave should be. It's usually off by a second or two, but pretty close. DeepL for translations instead of Google Translate. Although language options are still limited, the results are more natural and elegant. I'm a bilingual Chinese/English speaker and use this whenever I can't remember how to say a phrase in the other language. It's very accurate. Yes, much words. Tagging onto this, DeepL runs off of the main online dictionary, www.lingui.com, which is a complete and utter lifesaver for people wanting to learn languages. It will give you the word you're looking for, with all secondary or tertiary meanings, and will furthermore give you sentences with examples of the searched phrase. The noun project. Need an icon for something and don't have time to make it yourself? People from all over the world create them and upload them. Great resource for graphic designers. Icons available in SVG or JPEG. And they're doing stock photos now too. 3 a bunch of awards? Say what? Was not expecting that. Thanks. Tip of my tongue. It's really effective and has helped me countless times. I always seem to want a word when I'm writing, but forget what the actual word is. As someone taking multiple epilepsy meds, this is amazing. Kepra often has a side effect that basically causes language issues that result in a tip of my tongue kind of problem. Wernonf.net. They are masters at tracking down the exact clothes actors wear in TV shows. and they often show a similar cheaper option if your budget is not the same as millionaires. Edit. Mostly women's clothes. And no movies. Sorry. Is there a version of this for movies? A Knight's Tale has one of the coolest wardrobes I've ever seen in a movie. I'd love to get the shoes Rosie wore in Jojo Rabbit. My goodness, what a terrific movie. Wolframalpha.com. I sometimes use it math calculations. Also Desmos.com. If you need a graphing calculator. Desmos is amazing. It should be worshipped. Wolfram also recognizes units. So if I need to find the Keplerian orbital period of a celestial body, but I have separation in miles and mass in stones, I can still easily ask for my period in fortnights. No converting units by hand. Pointer.com. I mainly use it just to be impressed by the photos and to have a good laugh. Man, that takes me back. I remember finding that with Drive.com. This site has a pretty cool collection of free ebooks without registering. If you're in the US and you earn below a certain threshold, currently around 69,000, you can get free software to help you file your taxes. There's a nice website that walks you through the process, and you'll use exactly the same software you might already be paying a shitload of money for. For real, these companies are legally obligated to make their software available for free, in return for the US government not setting up its own free software and completely dismantling the market. Companies that sell you tax software are trying very hard to make it difficult to find. Don't let them. Nanite.com allows you to pick and choose from a large selection of commonly used programs like Steam, WinRAR, and random other things you need/want while setting up a computer. The awesome part is that once you've selected all the programs you would like, it will simply install them all with no bullshit. No ads. No cost. No boxes. Nothing. You get one executable, and it installs everything you checked without any of the hassle of going through each program's hoops. Edit. I've been told you can also keep the same exe file to update the programs when needed. Saves a lot of hassle. Also, I appreciate the awesome comments. I'm glad there are others who know of this, and even some others. If you get Nanite installer, do not remove it. You can use it to install updates to all of your Nanite installed programs. I added it to my grandpa's laptop and said, click this in a once in a while, and it will update your programs. Easiest way to spend an hour or two learning about our history/the future. Really interesting. For when you see a word in a different language, or your own, and you want to know how it's pronounced, or how it sounds in different accents/dialects, people record themselves saying words and upload it with their general location. I tell everyone I can about this site. Edit. Thank you for the silver. Kind stranger. It's my first ever medal. DoesTheDogD.com. Like it says, you can look up movies and see whether the dog in the movie dies. There are other categories too, but I mainly use it to check whether the dog dies. I hope John Wick doesn't discover this site. RunP.com. It tells you the best time for a bathroom break and gives a brief description of what you would miss. Love it. When Avengers Endgame came out at 3 hours long, my local theater had signs posted saying things like, at 43 minutes in, Thor says hello everybody. You have 5 minutes and 23 seconds before the next important moment, as Oft Murmur lets you play all kinds of soothing background noises, like rain, wind, birdsong, waves, and rolling thunder. You can also overlay them to make your perfect background mix, which is perfect if you want to relax to the gentle sounds of a coffee shop on fire, teleparty. It's actually a browser extension, but it's fun being able to have movie night with the boys while on lockdown. Can you also use it to stream a movie you own, or does it only work with Netflix, etc.? I check every few days or at least once a week. The site seems wonky today though. It normally shows the national flag of each astronaut. Those 7 people are out of this world. Iroward.org. The drug community knows about this one. This website is still one of the best websites for unbiased information about recreational drugs. This site has literally saved lives. Edit. Thanks for the silver and also correcting me on the web address. The trip reports are really fun to read too, especially the bad ones. I would always research on that site before experimenting as a teenager. It really helped me understand what I would be getting into and experiencing beforehand. That was almost 20 years ago. 2001, 2002ish. It's good that it's still around. Paste info from your manuscript Word documents, and it outputs as nice clean HTML. I've tried a few other options over the years, but this is the one I go back to. Saves a hell of a lot of time editing content for the web, which I get in Word documents. See hub.se. If you're a university student and you need access to paid online journals, this is the website. You put in the DOI of the journal, and it gives you the access to that journal. Good website. Really helpful for my studies. People often mention this, but no one ever mentions the person who made this website and fought an uphill battle with blood-sucking publishers to keep the website running. She's a woman, now 32 years old, Kazakhstani computer programmer. Alexandra Ilbakayan, left square bracket. Shows you the content of most removed posts and comments on Reddit. Finally, I can read 80% of the answers in r/askhistorians. Bing.com. For porn. For searching for porn, make sure you turn off the safe search and you're set. At first I was, why the hell would I use Bing? Then it hit me, nobody would ever find my history. Taps head with finger. Google is getting so terrible about ads these days that I'm seriously thinking about switching. DuckDuckGo would probably be what I'd change to, though. FlightRadar24.com. Tracking of airplane movements over the world. Sometimes I even look myself up when I'm on an airplane. Map.com. Calculating distances between airports on the Great Circle has some other neat features. 2. StellariumWeb.org. Kinda like Google Earth for the sky. Planets and stars. Love that tool. Anisark.com. German website to log CNANIM. Obligatory link to website that makes Reddit look like Outlook. Might be helpful if I ever go into the office again. Not mine. MyNoise.net. The woman who runs it is a noise engineer. And the site has a ton of different adjustable soundscapes that can play for hours without truly looping. This is great if you want some background noise. I use it for a vision, and it is excellent. The net is important. The com version is a guy stealing all of their work. Urban Dictionary. As an actual dictionary, I'm getting old and I get tired of asking the young people at work what the hell they are talking about. Yeah. It used to be just a fun place to dick around for fun back when I didn't make a noise getting up. Now it's become essential. What the fuck, shouldermcfordinner.com. Holy crap. This whole thread is the best thing I've come across on Reddit in years. Outline.com. It allows you to read the text on websites without seeing their ads. The Stardew Valley Wiki. Absolutely essential. Khan Academy, a site where you can take free courses in science, mathematics, language, arts. I use it in spare time just to enhance my knowledge on each field, and I will honestly say I learned better on Khan than I did school in 21 BTW. Shows you all the free campsites. Fantasinamagenaurators.com. As a writer with a bit of OCD, I have to say naming characters is the hardest part for me because I refuse to keep writing until it's done. I used to just call every character X and a number until I came up with a good name. But that got confusing after a while, and I would keep renaming characters because I didn't like the names I came up with. This website helps me so much to find a name and just leave it like that. I think you meant fantasinamagenerators.com. This is pretty niche to music/video editing, but I visit several times a day. Basically tap any key on your keyboard in time to some music to find its beats per minute, BPM. The way that this site averages your taps is incredibly helpful. I use a lot of high-end music software and none of them have a tap to find tempo function. As simple and user-friendly as this little site. Shitexpress.com. Send a package of poop to someone all around the world by paying with Bitcoin also makes the sender anonymous. If you're in algebra or any math with graphing, Desmus.com is amazing for graphing. Time for tracking shows and movies. Wayback Machine possibly not useful for a lot of people, but I used to make websites. I've had many customers who for various reasons used to have a website, but no longer do. You can find out a lot of info to build them a website based off their old one. The customer usually thinks all the information is lost. It's also a useful way to track the legitimacy of existing websites to see if they have always been what they claim to be. I also use domain diagnosis as an identifier to a website's legitimacy. See hub.se. Removes paywalls for most scientific articles because scientific progress should not be restricted by means. 4anin.2 is the best anime site that I use to watch anime. I used to use Crunchyroll, but quickly got fed up with the amount of lag and ads. 4anim has no ads or buffering. I highly recommend Edit. 4anim does have small ads on the sides in order to gain some profit, but they do not put ads in the middle of your show. Unlike Crunchyroll's 5 minutes of unskippable ads. Honestly, I don't know how underrated it is nowadays, but mint.com is such a good site for keeping your shit together financially. I'm fairly certain I learned of it from Reddit many years ago. You can group everything together on this site. Your cash, investments, credit cards and any debt you might have. You can set budgets and goals. Keep track of your credit score. Set bill reminders. I think it's only underrated amongst people I know because nobody has ever heard of it when I talk about it. Lol. Rainamad.com. Simulated rain sound. If someone created a website with links to these websites, that would be the best website. Bandcamp. A plethora of music and musicians I've never heard of, but are nonetheless very good. www.sleepity.me asks when you plan to wake up and tells you what time to sleep to minimize waking during a sleep cycle, which makes you feel groggy and not well rested. I use it to monitor how fucked mankind is in real time. I'm surprised. DuckDuckGo.com hasn't been mentioned yet. Google is becoming more and more biased, and it's pretty damn annoying. Z library for almost every book in existence and articles for search purposes. Free of course. Edit for any kind of books from comics, random stuff, educational anything. I use this to check whether the ice cream machines at the nearest McDonald's near me are broken or not. Fake name generator. I would use this when I was getting tons of spam calls, and if I had time to mess with them. The fake information appears legitimate enough to keep them online wasting their time. The site has credit card numbers that pass validity tests. I would give them to the spammers. They would think, at this point, they actually caught a sucker. So they would usually escalate credit card issues to higher level techs, wasting another person's time. Uses crowdsourcing and machine learning to gather amazing free online learning resources to help you learn about almost any topic you would want to learn about. This site gets 10/10ths from me.